3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, Harry Welchel here. Today we've got Peter Byram from Peter Byram Consulting, and we're going to be talking about how Peter added $8,000 in revenue profitably with Facebook ads and video testimonials in the last 30 days, even in the midst of the Corona outbreak. All right, so
Right.
I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. So before we get into that, why don't I turn it over to you, Peter? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Yeah. Hey guys, my name's Peter Byram. I help photographers to grow wildly profitable businesses. And yeah, basically what we do is we help photographers to scale up with organic and paid methods. And we primarily work with photographers who shoot weddings, but also portraits as well. And yeah, we've just really focused on getting them a predictable system, kind of like a client acquisition machine in their business, and some different traffic sources that they currently are that they're not using yet or that they're not aware of.
Nice, nice. Okay, cool. So it sounds like you specialize in wedding photography and portraits. How did you guys decide to focus in on that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've always I like working with entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs in particular. My background's in digital marketing, and so when I wanted to kind of go off on my own and look for a group of people I thought could make a big impact with, and I saw that there's just a massive opportunity in this space where people know that social media is something that they should use in their business, but they just don't really know how or how to do it like really profitably. And I knew that I could help them. And I just, I resonate. I connect a lot with them. I like helping entrepreneurs to grow. And so, yeah, that's kind of like how we got started doing this. And the thing with weddings in particular is that, so for anybody who doesn't know, is like for photographers, that's like the high ticket thing for them. So like obviously like in the coaching or consulting world, like people want to sell high ticket courses, but in the photography world, selling weddings, they're high ticket. Some guys will sell weddings for $10,000 or $15,000 all said and done. So it's just a great way to really scale up their studio. And so that's kind of one of the things that we focus on with them.
And I think you were telling me there's certain like weddings that really, really get people excited. Like what are the weddings that everybody wants to book as a photographer?
Well, they all like want to like travel. It's really fascinating in this niche, like how it's just one of the main like characteristics of photographers. Like people just they're creative. They love traveling. They want to shoot at interesting locations with cool people. So that's really like one of the big things that we see across the board is booking destination weddings. Is kind of like the creme de la creme, if you will, for photographers.
Are there any like really cool destinations some of your clients have been to with your help?
Yeah, it's cool. Like we see guys like one of my clients. He took a couple trips in the last. He's been like back and forth to Hawaii over the last couple months. And it's funny, like he actually is looking at buying some real estate out there because he's been like shooting so much out there. And we've got, places like Aruba, obviously Europe is big. Just kind of all over the country, people getting married all over the country. So those are like the big ones. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mine right now. Yeah.
That's really cool. So what makes you unique with helping your clients? Obviously, it's social media. Obviously, it's the results you get them. But like, tell me a little bit more about that. What are you guys really good at in terms of helping them get more leads and close more business?
Yeah. So a lot of it is around like, it's kind of, well, there's a couple of like constituent parts to a photography business. You have really like lead generation, sales or conversions, and then you have service delivery, which is like the actual shooting the session or the wedding, and then the like fulfillment with editing and all that kind of
Following
stuff.
up with the bride after.
Yeah, delivering the product, the finished product after the fact. And so what we really specialize in is helping with kind of the first two components, the lead generation and really tuning up the sales process, because this is very often like the big opportunity for a lot of photographers is like they're awesome at what they do. They're amazing artists, like they're geniuses, like when it comes to that. But then, very often people get into this business and then find out that like, wait a minute, how come I'm not booking? Like, it's kind of a shock very often to people that, just being an amazing photographer isn't really enough. And so we help them to put those lead generation systems in place, as well as to really dial in the sales process so that they can work with more people and show and share that amazing work that they do with their clients.
And so does like, when your client is like blown away with working with you, is it usually the leads piece first? They're like, wow, I have so many more leads. Or is it like, I'm closing more deals? Like, tell me more about that.
Yeah. It's both. It's funny. It's, like generating leads and inquiries, as it's referred to in the photography world, is a big one, because we're able to help our clients get literally hundreds of leads. And I've had clients say to me, like, I can't believe the results that we're getting. Like, they can't conceive of that, because so often in this space, I hear it all day long. People are getting like 5 or 10 leads a month on a good month. And then there's a lot, they're getting ghosted, and there's just a lot of price shopping through these different platforms like Wedding Wire and The Knot, that just like don't really lend themselves to building a really sustainable business the way they want to. So that's kind of the first thing, is just, like the leads, it's just a massive thing.
Yeah. Like, it sounds like with the leads, if you solve their pipeline problem, then they can have choice of the leads. They can pick out the higher ticket opportunities that they want to work with. And it kind of solves the bottom of the funnel issues too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then, obviously, but that's only one component. And then very often what we see too is like that sales process needs to be dialed in as well. And we work with our clients to really get that humming along so that they can really get that ROI to, this is how we see guys like invest $600 in advertising and make 35 grand.
Right.
Like just these crazy returns that, most people aren't seeing.
Right. Awesome, man. Well, let's go back. So you and I, we started working together about a month ago. So let's go back there. Tell me, like, what were you doing before working with us? How were you generating leads and growing your business?
Yeah, so my business was primarily, I was growing my business organically for the most part through social media. And it was going well, but I knew that it could be better. And so, we were just kind of connecting with people through Facebook and setting up calls that way and getting people signed up that way. But I knew that I really wanted to scale, and that was going to come through kind of automating that process to a large extent, as well as just sharpening up and making my funnel like a really powerful asset. And so that was kind of where I was at when you reached out to me. And I think that was kind of the biggest thing that I was looking to work on.
Totally. And I think I remember you mentioning like you were thinking about starting out with Facebook ads too, right? You'd been doing this organic outreach, posting content on Facebook, and you had gotten enough clients to validate that your funnel was working. And you said, you know what, I need to start testing out cold traffic as well. Is that fair?
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, why did you feel, tell me more about that. Why did you feel like that was the time to start doing cold traffic?
Yeah, well, I really felt like I had a proof of concept and the results were there, and I really wanted to, that was always the biggest thing for me, was really wanting to get like massive results for my clients, and so I was always super focused on that. And honestly, we were growing organically, like, things were moving, but I just wanted like that exponential growth. And so, that was why like we knew that we had to like start really focusing in on Facebook ads to be able to scale up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So before we started talking, like what was your plans to kind of solve these problems, both improve the funnel and start going after Facebook ads? How are you going to go about doing that?
Yeah. So, I had a funnel. And I knew that I was going to drive traffic to that through through Facebook.
Why don't you actually tell people a little bit about your funnel, just like at a high level, like the different pieces and how it works for those who don't know as much about funnels and the different ones that are out there.
So basically what we're doing is we're just driving people to a landing page where they opt in to get some value in the form of like, a video asset there where it kind of starts to solve their problem and, just, it kind of, I guess resonates with them, what they're going through, and then, gives them some advice and starts to kind of solve their problem. And then if they want more help, they can book in for a call through a calendar scheduling software right there on another page. And then they fill out like a quick little survey, tells us a little bit more about them. And then a couple days later, we do the call. So that's kind of how the funnel works. And then we just drive traffic to that through Facebook ads.
Cool. Okay, cool. So that's the funnel. And yeah, so again, how are you, before we connected, what was your plan to improve the funnel and improve Facebook ads?
Yeah, so, I knew that was the strategy that I was going to do. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to make it, like I really wanted it to perform well, so I hadn't really, I knew strategically how it was going to work. But I wanted to get an ROI, like, quickly. I didn't want to like have to blow a bunch of money on ads and, go through all this crazy testing. And so when we started working together and you came to me and you were like, hey man, have you ever thought about using like different video testimonials as kind of assets like in your funnel to help with the performance of the funnel? And that made a ton of sense to me because, I don't think it takes like a genius to figure out that like having that social proof and having it come directly from your customers' mouths that like this stuff works and like people are over the moon with the results that they're getting is going to help with conversions, in the funnel and then also like on the sales call. And so when you came to me and you were like, hey man, like that's a great funnel that you have there. It makes a lot of sense, but here's how we can make it even more powerful and, really get this thing, just turn this into like a dangerous asset. I was like, yeah, man, I'm all ears. Like, I definitely want to do that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So it sounds like you had a really good plan. Like you had good idea about what you needed to do with the Facebook ads at a high level, strategy wise. But you were nervous that there was a chance that like you might not get an ROI, within a month or quickly.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Like what would have maybe prevented you from getting an ROI, even though you had a good strategy in place?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, just because it's new, right? Anytime you're doing something like in the beginning, like you're learning something and like, there's a learning curve, right? And so like, I think one of the things that you said to me early on is you were like, look, man, like we can get this done way faster if we do it this way.
And it'll be more fun.
Yeah, more fun. Yeah, exactly. It's true. It has been more fun too, which is great. No, and it's 100% true. But like, obviously as a businessman, like I know that like, it's cliche, but time is money, and I want to move quickly. Speed is something that I value a lot. It's one of the principles like in my company that we try to move fast. We don't want to wait, and so. Anytime a guy like you, when you came to me and you were like, hey, dude, we can make this thing go way more effectively and faster. Like your strategy is, makes sense on paper, but we can get the results even faster than what's the word? Like with a much higher chance of succeeding faster, right? Quicker. I was sold.
Yeah, like I feel like I remember you and I, we talked about the strategy. You had the action plan, and it to you and I, we're pretty sophisticated marketers. It wasn't rocket science. It wasn't anything new. But I was like, I think I remember saying, okay, why don't we do A, B, C, and D in the next 7 days? And you were like, yeah, like why don't we? Like, let's just do it. And it was like having somebody that like set a timeline, set a deadline, get the momentum going, and then giving you tons of feedback as we were working through this stuff.
Yeah, Harry, that's a great point, man. Like that's a huge benefit to working with you is that like had I been trying to do this all on my own while simultaneously doing all my organic stuff, doing booking calls that way, selling people that way, like there's no way I would have been able to do this in the amount of time and get it profitable as quickly as we got it. Like to get the stuff built, tested, performing, and profitable within less than 30 days amidst the COVID, like insane coronavirus thing going on right now. Like there's just no way that that would have happened otherwise.
That's awesome. That's cool. So let's actually step back a minute. So before we get more into that, like how did you hear about me? How did we initially get connected?
So you actually, I think you friended me on Facebook, and then shot me a little video, like a quick like intro video through Messenger. And yeah, man, we just connected that way.
That's right. That's right. Okay, cool. I couldn't remember if you came in through an intro or if you introduced me to people, but you're right. I think, yeah, I reached out to you directly. Okay, cool. Very cool. So let's talk about this. So, okay, what did we do together specifically first? And just to jog your memory, I think what we did first was we set up some more customer interviews and got those going. Kind of walk us through like what did we do together at a high level?
Yeah, so the first thing we did was we got the video assets, like the video testimonials and customer interviews together. And that was huge. Like that has been like having a process to do that, like a step-by-step process for gathering those assets and like how to do them and make them effective. That alone has made a massive impact. So that was kind of the first thing that we did was gathered those together.
On that, like what surprised you about that? Like it kind of seems like something that's maybe pretty easy to do. Were there any things that surprised you or like, oh, that was really important that we made sure we did it this way? Or like that was harder than I thought? Like anything that was interesting about doing your first few interviews?
Well, it's like anything, you know, like having a proven process is always going to be more effective and efficient. So again, it comes down to that like efficiency thing, you know, like trying to figure something out on your own over the course of, you know, how much time do you want to waste on something? The other thing too is that, you know, on paper, sure, you know, you reach out to your happy customers and you just do a call with them, right? But in actuality, like, you know, even if you have happy clients, they're not, you know, people feel awkward. Like they don't, you know, they're not used to being on camera. Like they don't know what like they're going to say or how they're going to come across. And so, you know, you had a process for how to do this. Like you had an actionable step-by-step system that is battle tested and that works, so that I could just like kind of, it's funny, like we laughed about this, but it's almost like a funnel for getting your clients to give you a customer interview or a testimonial. It's like you kind of lead them along, you know, like just one simple little agreement at a time. And then next thing you know, you have this really powerful asset that you can put in your funnel, drive traffic to, or put it in your, you know, your automation or whatever, and just, you know, increase that show up rate, which I'm sure we'll talk about and everything. But yeah.
And they don't even realize sometimes they don't realize it's, you know, this amazing marketing asset. It really feels like an organic interview. They're talking with you.
Oh yeah. No, and it is. No, it is though. And it's the other thing that's cool is that it becomes this, dude, it's such an amazing thing because what happens then is then you go into your, you know, so the way my business works is that we have a training program, right? So we have a customer community and I've been able to share those customer interviews with my clients in there as well. And it just serves to like motivate people, keep them energized, keep them excited, like, you know, show, and you said this early on too, which I think is 100% true. It's kind of like, you know, you start to build this culture where it's like people want to get that. They want to be the guy or the person, you know, who's got the amazing.
It's a rite of passage. Like, oh, I'm going to schedule my interview with Peter because it's time to like share the wins.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all of that.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So we got the interviews first, and then what was next? Did we do the Facebook ads next? Yeah, we did the Facebook ads next.
Yeah, and I remember like we just got that was going within, I think we got that done in less than a week.
It was insane.
So
Like
yeah, everything built, angles written, like
all the
this.
tech, all the copy.
Yeah, yeah, just everything built out and launched in like 5 or 6 days. And then yeah, it was like testing for a few days, got everything like optimized, and then within like the next week they were producing, like they were, what's the word? It's escaping me right now. They were profitable. Yeah. So
What like going through, so what there was, like when you're doing Facebook ads, you got to set up the tech, the tracking, the audiences, the ad copy. What kind of surprised you when you were doing that in terms of like what were you, yeah, what was kind of the hardest part of setting that up in your mind?
there's just a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of different, like there's a lot of details with that stuff, if you don't want to deal with the headaches down the line and be like, oh my God, like I didn't set this up properly. And so now the data that we have isn't actually accurate. And I have to run another like testing phase to see if anything's even really profitable. So there's stuff like that, you don't want to, there's just a lot of like details, and there's a lot of like upfront work that has to get done. But the thing is that, and this is something that we worked on that you really helped me a lot with, is that like you don't necessarily like, not everything isn't like equally as important, right? So like there were certain things that could hold off, and so we were kind of thinking about the high level, the funnel at a high level, and what do we need to get built today so that we can go live versus what are the other parts of the funnel maybe that don't need to be set up today in order to get the results that we want. So just that kind of thing, having somebody to like mastermind with and kind of look at the essential components to get built first. So yeah, I think that answers the question.
No, that makes sense. I think like, if I recall, I remember talking with you. It's like, man, wouldn't it be amazing if all you had to do was like write the copy and do the targeting? But there's like all this other stuff around it. And I think we had a good relationship because I kind of, we paired on most things, but I kind of like short circuited a lot of the tech things and made it so that you didn't have to like rethink those wheels, and just you had a lot of confidence that all the tech was set up. So then you could just focus on the copy. And
yeah, totally. Well, I mean, like with your programming background, like I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but like you're a software engineer, right? So like that's a huge advantage to working with you as well that maybe you don't necessarily think about. But it's the honest to God truth that like you that's a unique skill set, right? So like you bring that to the table, and being able to set up all of this tech, it just so naturally that just cut through a lot of the noise and got things done like super fast, so that we really optimized the hell out of this funnel like really quickly with like the automation and also like manual touches to be able to hit people with these video assets and testimonials, customer interviews, which again just improved the overall performance. And I think really is why we've seen the results that we have as quickly as we have.
I agree. And I think let's dive into that a little bit more here in a sec. I think the last question I have on the ads is like, what were you most nervous about where you're like, oh, I think if anything's going to go wrong, like what piece were you like feeling like maybe wouldn't work well? Like you're worried about like an ad angle not resonating, or like you're worried that like the audiences weren't right, or any concerns around any of that?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you just don't, you have an idea what's going to work, but you don't really know until you test it. So I think honestly, it was a lot of that. Are the angles going to resonate? Like
just the unknowns.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are the audiences going to work? Like a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so so we went live, and I remember the day that we went live, you booked strategy sessions, right?
Yeah.
The first day.
Literally within like 24 hours, like people started booking. Yep.
And so, yeah, for people who don't know, like strategy session, what we're saying is just like a demo or an appointment, like an hour session. Someone has watched his video, got enough value that they're like, I don't know this guy from Adam, but I'm going to get on a call and spend an hour with him, right? So that happened almost immediately, and we were both kind of blown away and really pleased to see that.
Yeah, and just in the first week, I think I booked like 13 strategy sessions or demos, like We were booking them for like $70 a strategy session,
which is solid.
which is like, yeah, seriously solid. Um,
So then what happened? Like, so the first few days we did the ads, like coronavirus was a thing, but it really hadn't hit the US yet. Like the market hadn't crashed yet. What it was like that next was it that next Monday, or did we have a whole week before it really hit?
I think it was a week. And then like you said, people were talking about coronavirus and it was a thing. It was kind of like, I don't want to say it was a joke because that makes it sound kind of like callous, but it just like, then over the weekend, what happened was, yeah, like you said, like the market, crashed and it became a bigger thing here. It was like a change kind of overnight. I think it was like that
It
Sunday.
sunk in
Monday.
Sunday and Monday of that week. Yeah.
And so, we definitely noticed that like the campaign was affected, but really like we've kept booking calls and kept selling people.
Well, didn't we
Like,
we saw the show up rate dropped, right?
yeah. So, okay. So we saw that was the biggest kind of funnel metric that was, I guess, struggling was the show up rate, which was funny because like I didn't anticipate that. I don't think either of us anticipated that. Like
Because it's
was
not
going to
really
be
an
a thing.
issue in organic, right? You don't, because if you're doing all that touching and you're warming people up, they're going to show up basically.
Yeah, you're qualifying them, like you've had these like quick chats and everything. They're seeing your stuff, right? But these are when people come in through cold traffic ad, it's like they're a stranger. They've opted into something. They filled out a survey, but like there's no attachment to you as a person. So it makes sense in retrospect. But at the time, we just didn't really forecast that was going to be the issue. And so again, this is where the video testimonials and customer interviews were just massive, because that's when we really started to put those into the emails.
Into the funnel, right?
Yeah, in the funnel. So we started to, like, when somebody would book a call, we kind of set up this system where we had like, people. So this is where we did a lot of the tech stuff with Zapier, and I'm not going to like get too into the details of the software or anything like that, but just this system so that we could follow up with these people and keep showing them those video assets and those video testimonials, and then the show up rate that went away.
So we don't have to get into specifics, but I think didn't it almost double the show up rate, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was like it it was crazy. Like the show up rate was pretty low, honestly. I think it was like 50% or something. And I think part of this has to do with the whole coronavirus thing and everything like that.
Totally.
But then as soon as we started with the testimonials and the customer interviews and that system that we put in, like everybody started showing up on the calls. And it was just cool to see how right away that just completely stopped with that.
Yep, exactly. So like, yeah, the ideal show up rate is like 70-80% show up rate is what you're looking for off cold traffic. So we basically got in line with that once we put those changes in place, even in midst of the virus. That's awesome. Yeah, and I think you told me, like, tell people about, you get people on these calls and they would actually practically bring up your interviews, right? And the testimonials and stuff.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was cool to see that, like, I would mention some case studies like on a call, and people would be like, "Oh yeah, no, I watched that. I saw that." Like, and people watched like everything,
Lots
which was
of
really
stuff.
amazing to me. Yeah, like they watched like 4 customer interviews. They watched the whole value video in the funnel. Like people watched everything. And some of these videos weren't. I don't know. I was surprised to see that.
We're talking about like 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute videos.
Yeah.
People
And
have the appetite for them.
yeah, exactly. And like I think part of the way that we wrote the copy in the different like touch points was really powerful, because it leads people to want to watch this stuff.
Right. So we use like headlines and things at different points in the emails, in your Facebook profile, on your website, and things like that to entice people to click through and actually watch the testimonials. That makes sense. Cool. So tell us about some of the results, like revenue, ROI. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's really cool, like since we've started working together, we've added 8 grand into monthly revenue for this month. And this is with like all, again, the whole coronavirus thing going on, and so many businesses shutting down, and people saying that, like, nobody's doing business right now. And here we are, just like, getting people signed up, making sales, like just added 8,000, like I said, in revenue. And I think it's directly tied to everything that we've done, with the testimonials and just really kind of supercharging the funnel.
And not only adding revenue, just to add like profitably, right? So like a lot of people are worried when they start with Facebook ads, oh, how much test budget do I need? Like I'm going to spend all this money. And it's like, even in the virus, if you do things right, you can get profitable within the first month.
Yeah. No, I would just want to put that's 8 grand in profit. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's awesome. So how, like looking ahead, like how do you see your business and your life kind of improving from here? Like what are you going to, we've set up a lot of foundational stuff. What's ahead? How are things going to keep going up from here?
So now I just want to keep pouring gasoline on the fire at this point, basically. It's like, I feel like in the first 30 days, we got this stuff built. We got it really, moving the way we want it to go. Now it's just a matter of ratcheting things up and really scaling. So I just want to, keep optimizing, keep driving leads, and just keep doing more of what's working, because it's working. So I just want to keep doing more of it.
So we're gonna keep scaling the Facebook ads. We're gonna keep organic going. On the customer interview side, you've got like four like really good ones.
Yeah.
Would you want to keep collecting them? Like, why would it make sense to keep getting more proof from your customers that you deliver results?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, 100%. I want to keep getting them, and I'm fully intending on to keep doing that. You can't have too many of those things.
Why?
So the guy who has the most of those things wins. Is the way I look at it.
Right?
It's the truth though. Like in this business that I'm in, like this, consulting, coaching, training program space, like really nothing is more powerful than your customers' results.
Proof of results. Like you have to have documentation.
Exactly. Like Facebook ads are just the vehicle to get the new prospect to see that thing.
That you got results for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to get more of those. I just want to have this fleet of customer interviews and customer testimonials and just keep hammering everybody in this space with those things.
And as you grow your business, like let's say you start working with people in Canada. Well, then if you have customer interviews of people in Canada that do weddings, it's like people, they don't even recognize it, but subconsciously that will resonate more with those people. So you can't have enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I've noticed that too. It's like, when you have these things, you can use them strategically. So if you're talking to a certain kind of prospect, a particular kind of person, then you want to show them an interview that kind of aligns more with them, right?
Yeah.
And these are also really powerful for organic, I've noticed too. Because like sometimes you'll be messaging with somebody and they're like, oh no, it's not necessarily a great time right now or whatever. And you can be like, hey, no worries at all. Check out this customer interview I did. I think it's going to really help you a lot. So they're kind of like, you can use them in a lot of different ways.
Nice.
Well,
nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a really versatile asset, and they're evergreen too. So as long as you keep the same offer, the same positioning, you can use them as static assets in organic and in paid. Yeah. And I like the word you used, fleet. I always use the word war chest, but maybe I'll have to use fleet some. It's like an army, like it's turning your clients into an army of marketers for you, like a fleet.
It really is, yeah. Yeah. There's nothing more powerful than that, is the thing,
So let me ask you this, like, why did you decide to do business with us? What motivated you and kind of kicked you over the fence?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, like your like thesis like makes a lot of sense, right? So, and it's true, and it's proven now to be 100% true that having these different assets will help with conversions, and they will drive sales, and they will make your funnel more dangerous, right? So that's the thing, is like, that's when you said that, I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. And again, it's proven, the numbers are there. It's proven to be true. Which is the biggest thing for me, right? Is just being able to see the numbers. So when you have the data, you know it works, like, you just keep investing in it. Dude, honestly, this is kind of like a testament to you, man. Like, I think that you're a smart dude. Obviously, I think that, you have, being a programmer, thinking in that way is really a valuable asset. And so when we connected, I was just like, yeah, this, everything that you are saying makes total sense. And I believe in you, right? That you're not like a charlatan. You actually, that this stuff works. And again, it does. So that's kind of why. I think that answers it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So what would you say to other people right now who are maybe watching this? Like, would you recommend that others work with us?
100%, man. Look, and here's the thing, like, if you have some kind of online business, like whether you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're an agency, if you're selling some kind of product online, and you aren't doing something like this, like, this is just such low-hanging fruit for you in your business. There's nothing like proof like this to help you to get more sales. Like I said a second ago, this is the whole game, right? All the fancy marketing stuff, and I'm a marketer, right? like the coolest, like, new, tech and
Channel.
like, yeah, Facebook, now it's YouTube ads. You got to be all over. Like, all of that is completely secondary to having happy customers on camera singing your praises and telling other people like them to pay you money. Nothing is more powerful than that.
Because all these channels are just a vehicle to put that in front of them.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you aren't doing this stuff, like, you need to do it, and do it with somebody who has a proven system that has done it successfully. And yeah, it'll make you a lot of money. So it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah. So, like, what if there were specific types of coaches, consultants, agencies? Who is this like just a layup for? If you could.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I think if you are a coach, you're a consultant, you sell online, info products, courses, you're an agency owner, you got to do something like this. Totally. Yeah.
Cool. So if someone's on the fence right now and they're listening, why should they take action?
Why should they take action? Because the time is going to pass one way or another. And if you're a business owner, like, you have to invest in your business. Like, it's not going to just happen, you're not going to get to that next level for no reason. It's going to be because of some action that you took. And so don't wait. Like, if you want to grow, if you want to get more clients, if you want to scale, like, don't let the time pass you by. Just get after it, and you'll see the results. So.
Yep. And I think I'd add, no, I think you nailed it. I think you said it all. So that's great. So I think the last thing is, Peter, like, if people want to learn more about you and your business, where can they find more about you online?
Yeah, probably the best way is just to get me on Facebook, honestly. You can just search Peter Byram, Byram, and just add me, shoot me a message. Like, I'd love to chat. Anybody who wants to scale their photography business, we're there. You can also go to peterbyramconsulting.com. We have free training up there. You can check that out as well if you're interested. Book a call in and we can talk. And yeah, that's probably the best way.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
It's been great, Harry. Talk to you soon, man.
All right. Bye.